Before we get started, we'd like to give a huge thank you to our sponsors, Lawmatics and CallRail. Hey, Guy, can you imagine that we talk about, legal marketing and technology, etc.? What is the number one thing that gets people to watch a YouTube video about legal marketing?
Puppies. We've proven it's true. It's puppies. You can take all the gavels and American flags off your websites and put puppies up.
I mean, this is a little test for us, but we used flagrantly my puppy and a picture of the puppy on the YouTube video as that kind of start screen to see what was going to happen. And yes, more of you have watched that video than any other.
Everybody already knows this, though.
I know, but it's so
We've
craven. I know. We have
Science.
mathematically proved scientifically, because science, puppies work, even when you're talking about the mundane issues of legal marketing. And don't forget, we're on YouTube. So if you want to get more of Guy and Conrad and Guy's beautiful face, learn more about legal marketing, maybe see some puppies, watch some videos, feel free to like, share, and comment. If you have any burning legal marketing questions, ask them in the comments. We'll answer. So hit the subscribe button on YouTube. This always makes our the LHLM community better. And the content that we get, the questions that we get coming from you always make these segments better. So we really appreciate it. So find us on YouTube and ask some questions.
Conrad, what are we talking about today?
So my friend, as always, we're going to do a quick hit on the news, although there's a lot of stuff going on in the news. So that segment keeps getting longer, and I think it's going to continue. And I am really looking forward to this. We have been talking about TikTok. And I don't think that TikTok is the be-all, end-all of legal marketing, but we're going over what is proving to be a very controversial lawyer using TikTok. Criminal defense, TikTok lawyer. Stay tuned because this is going to be interesting. We actually invited him to join us and did not get a response. And finally, we're going to end with, and stay tuned for this because this is really important, 5 tips to increase your referrals.
Welcome to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, teaching you how to promote, market, and make fat stacks for your legal practice. Here on Legal Talk Network.
Welcome. 3 welcomes to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. Glad that you're able to join us today. Let's hit that news segment. Our friends at MyCase in the news this week. MyCase buys Docketwise, I believe. Docketwise.
Yeah, Docketwise.
Yes. Not Docket Alarm, Docketwise, which is an immigration practitioner software. More consolidation, the story of the day. As we typically say, you can rest assured that now Docketwise is supported by Capital because MyCase is supported by Capital. I actually recently published for MyCase. We should throw some links on there to those articles.
Did Nikki ask you?
She did. Thanks, Nikki.
I did an article for Nikki as well. So
now we can't use.
Go check out
talk about it.
If you want to hear more of Guy and Conrad, go check out MyCase's blog because there's great content from both of us.
It's more of a read, Guy and Conrad, but unless you did video, I don't know.
I didn't.
Anyway, Google Analytics 4 is a reminder, and you can hashtag LHLM on this one. Should we do a GA4 segment? You want to hear more about GA4, the issues? I said no. Conrad said yes. You tell us. But this is your regular reminder. GA4 is coming. If you don't update it, your analytics data is going away, and you're going to be in the dark.
I just got off the phone with my friends at HubSpot talking about this, and I will tell you that I think there are going to be some alternatives to Google Analytics for your analytics,
HubSpot.
should you choose to do that.
Let's get your friends from HubSpot on the show.
Yeah. All right, we can talk about that.
There you go. All right, Johnny Depp, made for TV. Are you Team Johnny or Team Amber?
So I am team neither because I'm a pop culture. I mean, I've seen one of Johnny Depp's movies. I think I just don't.
Lunch Hour Legal Marketing is your pop culture.
It is. This is as pop culture as I get. But the interesting thing that came out of this. There is an autocomplete for Amber Heard, who is. It says if you do an autocomplete for Amber Heard lawyer, I think it autocompletes to bad lawyer. Amber Heard.
It's
get me straight here.
It's if you type in the lawyer's name, it autocompletes to bad lawyer. Yeah.
That's bad.
And Conrad, maybe we should do a segment on that in the future, but not today.
Not today. Yeah, but think about the association that happens with that. Like what a nightmare, right?
It's not ideal situation. Well, before we dive back in, let's thank our sponsors. Smart firms use CallRail to track where every lead comes from. PPC, LSA, organic search, or even offline ads. CallRail tells you which channels drive your best leads.
CallRail even integrates with your favorite CRM or practice management tools to help manage your leads and see the ROI on your marketing investments.
Know exactly which marketing tools work. Plans start at $45 a month.
We recommend CallRail to every single one of our clients. Go to callrail.com/lunchhour now and try it for free.
If you're like a lot of lawyers that we talk to, you're trying to grow your firm, but you're having trouble doing more in a day than just managing your systems.
So what you really need is a simple system that can easily identify where your profitable leads are coming from, analyze practice performance, and easily sync up matters.
Now, I've got to admit, I'm both an investor and advisor to Lawmatics. And the reason is I'm super excited what Matt's building over there.
So you don't have to change your entire system. Lawmatics easily integrates with MyCase, Clio, Smokeball, Rocket Matter, and lots of others.
So take a test drive today with Lawmatics to make client intake easier. Lawmatics.com. And we're back. So this has been floating around the internet as well. There is a lawyer in California who is on TikTok, and he's filming his clients right out of court. You know, hey, we just got you off your third DUI. Are you grateful for my services? In fact, let's play a little clip so you can get a flavor of what's going on here, because this is something.
All right, we just got out of court in beautiful Newport Beach. We're here on a second-time DUI. My great client here was pulled over. He had double the legal limit. He was actually at 0.18 blood alcohol content. He had 13 nanograms of cocaine in his blood. They found an
Lovely
empty vial of that also. He was looking at 150 days of county jail out here. And we just crushed it. He's going to do how much jail?
Crushed it.
None.
Zero jail.
Zero jail. Everybody's proud,
and after
super
a year,
happy.
He's going to be all done with this case, and he can move on with his life.
And
Thank you
any
so much.
future
Appreciate
employer
it.
who
I
would
know.
like to hire this
And
gentleman now can take this all into
great.
consideration.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, Conrad, here we are, TikTok. And really, you know, we're going to talk about in the lens of TikTok. It's on TikTok. And, you know, we should say, in the wonderful world of the internet and human nature, his videos are exploding. He's getting tens of thousands of likes and comments and tons of pub. We've seen some other podcasts and video content covering the topic. In fact, I even
he's
saw
getting a
he's getting a
ton of
couple
coverage.
links. Yeah, he's even getting a couple links out of this. So, you know, for the SEO people out there, his SEO team's super proud. So, what do you think, Conrad? Is this a good way to market your practice on TikTok?
Well, I'm going to take the counterpoint here because the back and forth is important, and I want to give the counterpoint. This reminds me very much of our good friend, the Texas Law Hawk, which makes almost every lawyer who I show that to, all of his stuff, want to kind of retch. And I'll tell you a couple things. One, Texas Law Hawk, the branding on that, his ability to actually build a brand, whether or not there's any affinity, you feel any affinity to that brand is immaterial in my mind, because there are people for whom do feel a really strong affinity to that. And he's doing that. He's doing that very well. He's leveraging, we talked about dark social the other day, he's leveraging other people to share his brand and who he is. And most importantly, from a pure, smarmy, scummy marketing perspective, I remember when we were building... this is early on in my career in legal, 2006, maybe 2007. We did a lot of research around what do people want to know about their lawyer when they are choosing to hire a lawyer. You know what the number one thing was? It wasn't responsiveness. That's what they look for in a lawyer. The number one thing people want to know about a lawyer is their win rate, right? And here's this guy using his own clients, and I will use the phrase using his own clients because he is absolutely using his own clients. We can get into that. But he is using his own clients to talk about what everyone wants to know from a criminal defense attorney, which is what is your win rate? It's effective.
Well, sort of. He's sort of talking about win rate. I mean, I'm sure he's not doing TikToks for the times he screws up.
I mean, yes, sure.
So, yeah. But to your point, he's definitely publicizing results with his client there, who's nodding along as he outs their criminal charges. So here, good points. And, all publicity is good publicity. Here we are talking about him.
No such thing as bad PR for link building, right?
Let's go.
Well,
let's go.
Let's go.
Right?
Crushing it. So we'll get into the taste factor. But here's my big difference though between your example with Texas Lawhawk. Texas Lawhawk's doesn't have his clients up there. Texas Lawhawk's just Texas Lawhawk. Texas Lawhawk can do whatever he wants as Texas Lawhawk. He can go on with his crazy American flags and his wings and his screech. That's him. That's how he wants to portray himself and brand himself. That's his choice. Like, lawyers, there's this old-fashioned theory that lawyers should be doing what's in the best interest of their clients. Now, in California, and I'm not a legal ethics expert on California legal ethics, but my quick read of California's rules of professional conduct say, one, there's an issue of like some of the stuff he's talking about, could it be protected as a confidence? Like maybe not the charges, but he's getting into some details of these cases that I don't know, might run afoul of that. But, my hunch is he's getting their consent. Is it informed consent? Is he like, hey, we're going to step out of the courtroom. Are you okay if I pull out my phone and record you on TikTok, taking consideration that a lot of people are going to see this, potentially your family, potentially your friends, potentially your employer, potentially future employers. Are you cool with that?
So
cool?
I spent a lot of time looking at David Porcellini, right? He does not do that. You're setting me up for a straw man answer to your question. He does not do that. And in fact, there is a interview of David where I think the interviewer says, so you ambush them when you walk outside the court. And he's like, yep. Ha 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 ha. Right. And there's all this guffawing that goes on.
So if he's not getting their consent,
he's asking.
Just wait for the state bar to come around.
Let me split this into two things for you, Key. You clearly have an ethics concern, which I think is a fair concern to have. Do you have a taste concern? Like, is this just too far beyond the pale for a lawyer to do?
Well, see, I'm big on you have, as a lawyer, you have the right to position yourself however you want. You can be Lawhawk, You can be Hammer, you can be whatever you want. You can even be, let's go, crush it. But you do, to me, maybe it's old-fashioned, you have an obligation to act in the best interest of your client. Now, and we'll throw this in there. So we've talked about Maximum Lawyer Facebook community. I posted it in there. I'm not going to, it's a private community. So if you want to see what's the conversations there, I encourage you to join it. In fact, Conrad and I are on Max LawCon podcast, so check that out. Little plug for them.
Oh yeah, well done. We'll put that. Well, that's not live yet. Yeah. We will try and find and add that to the show notes.
But friend of the pod, Carolyn Elephant, shared, and this is on her blog at My Shingle, so we'll make sure that's in the show notes too. She has published on this a long time ago because it had nothing to do with TikTok. I think it was 2012 maybe, about lawyers using video testimonials of clients in general, and there's some good points in there. I'm not 100% in alignment, don't use video testimonials of clients, period. But if you're going to, you got to be doing it in a way that isn't going to undermine the best interest of clients. So what does that mean, right? Because it's a gray area. I mean,
should you not review your lawyer on
right.
Google then? Right? There's a spectrum.
That's right. I think that's the question at hand. And I think I can't speak for everybody. You can hashtag LHLM on this one and can join the Facebook groups, or on YouTube. You can leave some comments because I'd love to hear from you, lawyers and everyone. But, let's just go through a couple of these examples. example number one. You got acquitted for your third DUI. The client says, anything I can do for you? Well, we're a lot of our business comes from the internet. And we have a Google business profile. If you'd be willing to leave a review there, I'd really appreciate it. By the way, you don't have to say anything about the representation. Now, the counterpoint is that just by leaving the review, you're saying something about the representation, right? Issue, of course, is that in the competitive landscape, direct-to-consumer lawyers, if your business is on the internet, people expect to see reviews there, and this goes back to some of the stuff that you talked about at Avo, where it's like there's a serious dilemma between what's in the best interests of the client and the lawyer's marketing. And so, review online, the client takes it on their own volition and decides to leave a review. The client made that decision. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but 19 times out of 20, they're being asked, right? Client's own volition.
Right. The question is the ask is the issue. And and by the way, in some states, as I read the rules, I think it's South Carolina, if you claim your Google business profile, even if you don't ask, if someone leaves a review there, you're responsible for the content on the Google business profile.
Well, that was one of the bars early. Many of the bars had that problem with Avo. You claim your profile, you're responsible for the reviews. What? Welcome to the internet, right?
Well, welcome to bar regulation as well.
Right. But
thank you, dear state bar regulator.
Oh, we got to go back to that. Yeah. Dear State Bar Regulator, please don't watch David Porcellini's videos and use that to guide your decision-making factors, right?
Yeah. Well, so the taste thing, look, it doesn't really matter what I think about the taste thing. The best interest of the client, I think that's really at the issue. Now, from a marketing standpoint, here's some other things that I don't know if this gentleman has considered. How many friends, we're going to talk about referrals coming up here. How many other lawyer friends that are referrals is this person making, right? Because, hey, the TikTok crowd loves this guy. You think all the other California lawyers that might be willing to refer him business or other people in professional context? Now, you might say, that's not who he's marketing to. Who cares? 100%. He doesn't care about referrals.
No, I think so we're going to talk later about, ironically, we're putting these back to back. We're going to talk about referrals later. I'm going to guess that Porcellini's referral from the legal industry is close to zero, if not negative, right? Don't work with David Porcellini. He's going to put you on video, right? That's probably happening. Having said that, you guys want to find a way around the pay-per-click games, right? Those huge expenditures. You're running criminal defense. I think he's in Los Angeles, I think. Yeah, okay. Let's have people on TikTok do your marketing for you, right?
I'll be curious to see if one of these clients doesn't say, hey, you know what? This is false light publicity. I mean, I don't know what all the rules on that are because I haven't practiced law in 400 years. But, hey, you kind of ambushed me on this, and it's all over the web. The New York Times doing a story about it, and here I am, with my vial of cocaine, and I can't get a job now. Thanks, lawyer.
So here's the thing. We're doing this as a podcast. You have to recognize, I'm going to describe this for you if you haven't seen it. The clients aren't named and the mask. I don't know that this would happen in a non-COVID world. They're all masked. And so you can make the argument there's more anonymity for a masked, nameless person on video than there is if I leave a Google review that says, Conrad Somm, right?
I'm going to throw one more angle on this one before we go to our next segment. I wonder how this is impacting him in court. The judges are going to find out about this guy. And, judges are supposed to be impartial, right? Doesn't matter if you're the law hawk or you're the TikTok person. But I got to tell you, my hunch is that he walks in and some of these judges, as hard as they're trying to be impartial, they're like, this is the guy.
Well, maybe it's not even the judge either. It's just the prosecutors start getting tired of being made to look like morons, right? We are no longer taking anything for Porcellini's clients, right?
Right.
And
again, best interest of the client now.
So that totally valid. So my first thoughts were that when I saw this, and the second was, are these really his clients? Right? Who is
right? That would actually be the best if they're all actors and it was just like, oh yeah, I didn't disclose that they're actors.
No. Someone placed that to him and said, listen, there's no way, and you'll see in a lot of the comments I said there's no way, this is sarcasm, it's satire. These are actors, these are his friends. He says no.
Yeah. Well, the problem anyway, if he's doing that, it would still be misleading, I think, under California's rule.
Well, yeah. So you're going to the ethics side. Like the actor thing would be super bad.
The ethics.
But what he says, and I think this is important, and again, I'm trying to present the counterpoint here, and he does he's very articulate when he talks about you're dealing with people who are very scared, and because you have gotten them through this very awful situation, they are amazingly grateful. And they are very happy to recommend me. And frankly, like that is a really important perspective that I think we often miss. Again, I find this utterly tasteless.
Well, all the more reason that they probably can't give proper informed consent, though.
See, you're going back.
I'm in an emotional state. And you ambush me here. And how can I give you consent to do this properly?
Okay.
Right.
So you're making the consent argument that even though he's asking them. That because they're literally walking out.
I'm not making
of
any
the
arguments.
courtroom.
I'm asking whether or not this is in the best interest of the clients, because that's what the lawyer is supposed to be thinking about.
Are you being Socratic and going law school with me?
Huh.
I think you are saying this is not in the best interest of the clients.
I'm going Greek.
All right. So with that, we will get legal philosopher Guy Tsakalakis coming back to you later. We would love to have David on the show, by the way. I did reach out to his office. This, David, I suspect is going to filter back to you. If you would like to have a follow-up conversation, we would love to have you on the show. So find us. You already have my number because I left it for you. By the way, your receptionist does not answer the phone quickly enough, but that's a different conversation. Ooh, ouch. We'll be back after the break to talk about 5 tips for referral marketing that don't involve exposing your clients.
Let's go.
If you're a lawyer running a solo or small firm and you're looking for other lawyers to talk through issues you're currently facing in your practice, join the Unbillable Hours Community Roundtable, a free virtual event on the third Thursday of every month. Lawyers from all over the country come together and meet with me, lawyer and law firm management consultant Christopher T. Anderson, to discuss best practices on topics such as marketing, client acquisition, hiring and firing, and time management. The conversation is free to join, but requires a simple reservation. The link to RSVP can be found on the Unbillable Hour page at LegalTalkNetwork.com. We'll see you there.
You like legal podcasts because you're curious and want to be the best attorney you can be. I'm Dave Scriven-Young, host of Litigation Radio, produced by ABA's litigation section with Legal Talk Network. Search in your favorite podcast player for Litigation Radio to join me and my guests as we examine hot topics in litigation and topics that will help you to develop your litigation skills and build your practice. I hope you'll check out Litigation Radio and join the ABA litigation section for access to all of the resources, relationships, and referrals you need to thrive as a litigator.
And now, for the Legal Trends Report Minute, brought to you by Clio. TikTok. Ever wonder how other law firms spend their money? According to 67% of lawyers, legal practice management software is a key investment. If you rely on pen and paper or server-based systems to manage your practice, you may be missing out on billables. Instead of printing and mailing your bills, the right legal software lets you create, edit, and approve bills in minutes. Plus, you can send them electronically and collect payment on the same day. Imagine that. This is just one of the ways in which legal practice management software can simplify your day-to-day. You know, that's a very compelling feature, this billing and payment stuff. And I know a lot of practice management tools, including Clio, are focused on this. Make it easy to get paid.
Yeah. This is marketing 101.
Better experience for clients.
Basics.
Pen and paper. I remember too, the other one, they threw in the server-based systems. I know there's a lot of firms. This was classic. I remember Jack Newton at Tech Show many years ago when he was first fighting the fight on cloud, which he's clearly won. These lawyers, oh no, we got our own server. But then, the IT on the server, they're like, the server in the office is way more secure than the cloud. And it's like, are you serious? That was one that was I always will be nostalgic for that one. Because I was like, I've seen those servers. They haven't been touched in years and could hack right into them. Anyway, enough about that.
Or you unplug them accidentally.
Right, sure. To learn more about what technologies other law firms are investing in, download Clio's Legal Trends Report for free at clio.com/trends. That's Clio spelled CLIO.com/trends.
Now, Guy, you and I talk a lot about referrals and the importance of referrals and referral marketing. And we haven't yet done a segment on what are the things we can do to improve our referrals, right? So where would you start with on, okay, what do we need to do in order to drive more of this? And I'm going to set you up for your answer here. This free marketing channel.
Ha! Now I can't. I was going to get into the constructive tips, but now that you said it's free, I'm going to say, I don't know. There's nothing free.
There's nothing free?
It's going to take your time or it's going to take your money.
Okay.
There's always a cost. But, constructively, we always talk about put yourself in the referrer's position, right? So who are the number one, who are the referrers, right? Former clients. Do you keep in touch with former clients? No, I don't. Other lawyers. Are you making friends with lawyers in your community by publishing your clients' results on TikTok? Other professionals, right? Because think about it. Most people that don't know a lawyer that might be seeking a referral or don't know a lawyer for this particular issue they're facing, they're going to go to somebody that they trust. Might be an accountant, might be another professional service person. So start thinking about who these folks are. But then once you get to, okay, now I know who the referral sources are, how are you nurturing the relationship with the referral source? How do you say thanks, right?
So I got a card the other day in the mail, handwritten
Yes.
thank you note, and it was because of you, Guy. I got a card from Gina Guzman, who I did a talk with at ABA Tech Show. I had not met her until ABA Tech Show. We did a great talk together. Well, I think it was a great talk. She probably wishes I hadn't spoken so much, but this wasn't even a referral. She sent me a handwritten thank you note about how great it was to present with me. When's the last time you've sent a handwritten thank you note, people? Like, that is very different. The other thing that Gina did in that handwritten thank you note, you know this about me, Guy, I love Dunkin' Donuts. And I can tell you where the Dunkin' Donuts is in almost at least 10 different East Coast airports, because I'm in Seattle and we've got Starbucks and it's overpriced and awful. Anyway, Gina put in a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, which is now sitting in my wallet. And the next time I fly into the East Coast, I'm going to buy a Bavarian cream and a jelly donut and a medium coffee with cream and sugar, and it'll be delicious. And I'll think of Gina. Handwritten thank you notes.
I love I love the handwritten thank you note, but you know what I really love?
Hit me.
I love the thoughtful gift.
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
contextually, like you actually, because guess what? You know what it shows? It shows you care about the person.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm thinking about you and what you're all about, where you are in the world, what's important to you. Love that one.
And it's not that hard. Like, it's really not that hard. Gina and I were clearly talking about my love of Dunkin' Donuts, and she put it in the back of her mind and did a great job. I'll give you another tip when we're talking about thank yous. I think you need to send a thank you regardless of how bad the referral was. I think a lot of times, by the way, 99% of you aren't doing this well. 99% of you aren't sending the thank you or the gift or whatever it might be, right? But there's also this perspective that, oh, if this turns into a client, I'll send them a thank you. That's terrible. What a selfish perspective that you have. I think you should take every single opportunity, regardless of how shitty that individual referral is, to show off your largesse by sending that thank you for every single referral, right? And it's not about whether or not that person was injured enough to be worthy of working with you that deserves a thank you. It's the fact that someone, doesn't matter who it was, thought of you when they knew someone in need.
Well, and that's the thing that a lot of lawyers think too. Like, oh, like I'm the person they're going to refer to. And I know positioning wise and marketing and niche wise, like lawyers want to do that. I think, and it's a good positioning to be that person. But the truth is, especially in major metros, these lawyers, they know 50 of you. And so it's not about like, what is it going to be? And sadly, I know lawyers aren't going to like this, and you can hashtag LHLM this one too. But what are they thinking about? They're like, I want to make sure that the person I'm referring to this lawyer is going to be in good hands. Okay, so that narrows my list down to 20. Next, I want to make sure that, especially in the context where there's and some lawyers hate this, but it depends on the context. In personal injury, there's probably going to be a referral fee. So they're thinking about maximizing the fee. So that narrows it down to 10.
Yeah.
Then finally, it's going to be like, well, are you top of mind? And are you grateful? Those are the things that I'm telling you, that's what people think about, because so many times I've seen it. I've been in the room where it happens, and the referral will be like, oh yeah, I just wasn't thinking of you. Or, oh, hey, I got your email, and by the way, I meant to refer this case to you. It's literally, even with deep relationships, these referrals, they're happening because of top-of-mind awareness, gratitude, and of course, the trust and competency of the lawyer. But guess what? There's a lot of lawyers doing that.
Yeah. I mean, you
trust
talk
and
about
competency
top-of-mind awareness and gratitude. So, I like, this is why I think you send that thank you regardless
Right.
of how bad the referral is.
No,
it
the
keeps you
sad
top of
part
mind.
is, to your point, that's a way to stand out, saying thanks, because no one else is doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So cross that very, very small threshold. The other thing that you said was gratitude. One of the things I would really encourage you to do and to think about is, can you send, so we talked about the thank you note. Can you send a really great gift, the thank you gift? And I'm going to use two different examples. There's a woman, I believe she's in Manhattan. She has Down syndrome, and she wanted to become a baker, and she couldn't get a job at a bakery. And she has now started a thing called Colette's Cookies. And every time you send something from Colette's Cookies, A, the cookies are amazing, and B, you are supporting someone in their entrepreneurial adventure who has Down syndrome. You are a good person, right? So you want to be memorable and show some sense of gratitude, go pay that forward with a Colette's Cookies. And there's plenty of things. You can do a local side to this. There's lots of things that you can do that make you stand out beyond the fruit basket, right?
Yeah. The other one that you mentioned there in your, at least in the show notes, is the tracking and rewarding. So if you refer a client or get a client, if you get a client referred to you, go back and let the referral source know what happened. Now, the lawyer's going to be like, well, you can't blow confidences. Well, of course you can't. But you can say, hey, thanks for the referral. And then, hey, we've taken on, again, it's different context and how you say it and how to deliver it. I think there are some ethics things you want to think about. But, saying thanks and then checking in with the referral source on it. I know in the plaintiff world, that's a very strong part of the referral equation, is to keep the referral source updated about some high-level things that are going on with the representation.
And then when you do that, what happens? You stay top of mind.
You stay top of mind, and they feel confident that they're in good hands and that the client is being treated properly and that the case is being followed up on. Like, that stuff matters to folks.
So I'm going to go back to our good friend, David. And we talked about Dark Social the other day, but to me, we'll put the Dark Social episode back in the show notes. What David is doing, and I'm blanking on it, it's David Porcellini, is doing with TikTok, whether or not, regardless, so I'm going beyond the ethics side of things and going beyond the tasteless side of things. He is generating a huge referral network of people who believe that he can get people off for some really, really crazy crimes. And he's leveraging the network effect and, frankly, the gag effect of the content that it's tasteless, and tasteless, it's selling, right? It's getting shared, and he's generating a really, really wide referral network, right? And yes, they're not going to be lawyers. I can't imagine a single lawyer would ever be like, yes, let's promote this. But it's going to be a lot of people who may find themselves in need of David's services. So I really look at, we're kind of enumerating these here, but, one of the top things that you can do is use Dark Social to drive referrals within your town. I talk about using social media to turn your town or your city into your referral network. It's a huge opportunity.
Very powerful. The other one that comes up a lot, and some people disagreed with this one on LinkedIn with me, but becoming a referrer.
Why does people disagree with that?
It's not even worth getting into, but a lot of people will say the fact that I'm saying, look, if you refer cases out, you're more likely to get cases back. They would say something like, well, you shouldn't be making the referral for that reason or something. But my point is this: strategically, the missed opportunity is this. Someone calls you. You're a criminal defense lawyer. Hey, my friend was in a car accident. Can you help me out? No, we don't do that. Have a nice day. What? You don't know another lawyer that you might be able, that you trust would do a good job that you can refer the case to? In fact, I tell people when people call up and they're like, if they got the wrong number, they think they called somebody else, try to help them out. I mean, I'll tell you, I've seen reviews online where it's like, hey, this lawyer wasn't the right lawyer for me, but he spent the time to listen to my issue and then made a referral to someone who could help me out, knowing that he was never going to benefit from this financially. Like, that was an actual review on Google.
And so what you're doing there is you're actually creating two referral sources. You're creating a referral source for the lawyer, and you're creating a referral source for that person that you've helped without getting anything out of it. The business karma concept of this is so obvious. And I think your ability to, this sounds super corny, if you try and give without even trying to get, you will win this game. Gary Vaynerchuk basically titled one of his best books on social media marketing, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which was you never make the ask early on, right? Build the trust with the jabs over and over and over and over, where you're not asking for anything, you're giving. And then if you do have to make that ask, when you want to make that ask, that's your right hook. I even take it further. Just give it. Play the business karma game. It works. It comes back to you. The lawyers that I know and admire, like, it's such about giving back and helping other people, and then it comes back because you become known as a person who cares about other people. And like, what better positioning can you have as a law firm than that?
And one more final thing on this, I have to say it. Referrals aren't free. We hear this all the time, like, oh, you just do hard work and you get referrals. And yep, you probably do a little bit. But whether you're sending cookies or hopping on a plane to nurture a relationship or any other things that take your time, writing a handwritten thank you note, they're not free, and you need to think about them in the context of your budget. And, people don't like to hear this. We had the conversation. We talk about cost per acquisition all the time. What's the cost per acquisition from my Google ad? What's my cost per acquisition from organic? What's the cost per acquisition for all these different channels? Well, referrals, you got to think about your cost per acquisition in the referral standpoint. And even because I know you're about to say something, I'll let you say your point. But my thing about it, the ancillary benefit, and on top of holding those dollars and time accountable, is that you tend to do it more because you're managing it, right? You're tracking it and you're managing those budgets and those investments, and it makes you more disciplined in how you handle your referrals.
Yeah, I mean, the discipline thing, you all know you should do this. And 9 out of 10 of you, 19 out of 20 of you, 99 out of 100 of you lack the discipline to do this systematically. My counterpoint on the referrals aren't free is, yeah, but they're really, really cheap compared to pay-per-click.
That's what I thought you were going to say, right?
Yeah. I mean, just think about this. Like, my referral gift of choice is a bottle of scotch, and I've backed away from that because I've sent bottles of scotch to A, people who are recovering, and B, people who are Mormon. So those have been my two faux pas with my bottle of scotch gift. But like, even if I go bananas, and by the way, so we can use this. I sent to one of my people, hey, please send Guy a really high-end bottle of scotch as a thank you for a referral recently. This was last week, right? And I know you haven't gotten the scotch yet, but I know Guy likes scotch, and so that's safe.
Well, I thought they were waiting to find out if it was going to become a client.
Right. So I had this argument with my sales guy. He was like, well, we gotta wait. If we're going to send him a really nice bottle of scotch, we got to see whether or not blah, blah, blah turns into a client. I was like, the hell we do. Like, that is such a bad message to your friends. Like, so coming back to my point, even if I go bananas on a really, really high-end bottle of scotch, compared to my like cost per click for like law firm marketing agency, and then they go to my site and there's this massive funnel that they may or may not fall through each step, a bottle of scotch, a super high-end bottle of scotch, is a pittance compared to what you're thinking about from a cost per acquisition.
100%.
Oh, by the way, Bottle of scotch. You can get those engraved. Thank you from Mockingbird, right? It's awesome.
There you go.
And then they can't re-gift those, and they have to sit on the shelf for a while and remind them where that bottle of scotch came from. There's my last referral tip.
Yeah, we'll put some more resources for how to improve referrals. Lawmatics has a great ebook, and actually did a webinar with Matt on this topic. So we'll make sure that's in the show notes.
Let's get Colette's cookies in the show notes.
Yeah.
And the Reserve Bar, that's where you can get scotch engraved. There's lots of great things that you can do. But think local, right? Find something local that you can support.
Well, unfortunately, the saddest part of our time, the end of our episode. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you found something of value. Please do remember to review, particularly Apple Podcasts, and check out YouTube. Let us know what you think of us on video. If our makeup looks good, if I need to clean up my bookshelf. Appreciate your time. And until next time, Guy and Conrad out for Lunch Hour Legal Marketing.
Thank you for listening to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. If you'd like more information about what you heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts and RSS. Follow Legal Talk Network on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
See, who's Tom Brady? Oh, wait, no. He's Michigan, so I know. I'm kidding.
Offensive.
Today's legal news is rarely as straightforward as the headlines that accompany them. On Lawyer to Lawyer, we provide the legal perspective you need to better understand the current events that shape our society. Join me, Craig Williams, and a wide variety of industry experts as we break down the top stories. Follow Lawyer to Lawyer on the Legal Talk Network or wherever you subscribe to podcasts.